Let's talk about how you should buy a creative finance deal and how you should sell a creative finance deal. Should you buy a deal subject to or seller finance? And should you sell a deal on a lease option or a wrap? Or maybe you should just lease it out? Airbnb, midterm housing, rent by room. What should you do? What is your acquisition strategy and what is your disposition strategy? In this video, I'm Fincenik and I'm gonna walk you through all of this. And this is my dog, Soup. Say hi, Soup. All you need to do to answer all these questions is to simply look at this. This creative financing process flowchart will answer all your questions. So the first thing you need to ask when you are looking at a deal is simply, does the property have a mortgage? Does it have a mortgage? If yes, you do subject to. If no, you think seller finance. So if there's a loan on the property, think subject to. How can you take over their payments? If there is no loan on the property and the seller owns it free and clear, then seller finance. It's that simple. But what if there is a loan on the property, but the seller has too much equity and it doesn't make sense as a subject to? Well, then it's a perfect hybrid deal. Or on the other side, if there's no mortgage and you're doing seller finance, but the seller just needs a big down payment, like 30% plus down payment, then do a Morby method deal. If you do not understand what hybrid is or Morby method, do not worry. Ask me in the comments below and I will answer all your questions. And if you want me to make a dedicated video on a subject, I will do it for you. Now, if you're looking at a property and the seller is just not interested in creative finance, they don't want you to take over their mortgage, they don't want to do seller finance, they don't want to be the bank, then you just give them a cash offer and you offer them the 70% rule. Really, buying a property with creative finance is that simple. You need to know, does the property have a mortgage? If yes, subject to. If there is too much equity, then you do a hybrid deal. If the property does not have a mortgage, the seller owns it free and clear, then you do seller finance. But if the seller needs a big down payment, Morby method. If they don't want to do creative finance at all, then just give them a lowball cash offer and see if they say yes by following the 70% rule. That is creative finance acquisition explained in 30 seconds. That is all you need to know. If you're liking this video, please make sure to subscribe. This is a new channel and I can really use your support. So now you know how you're going to acquire a property, whether you're wholesaling it or whether you're investing in it and you're keeping the property. It does not matter. Now you know how you're going to acquire it. But what is your exit strategy? If you're wholesaling a deal, you need to know the exit strategy to present to the end buyer. You need to pitch the deal with that exit strategy in mind. So you need to run through these. And if you're an investor, you obviously need to know what the best exit strategy is. So what is your disposition strategy? The first question you need to ask yourself is, do you want to keep the property? Do you want to own it? Or do you want to sell it? That's a big difference. Do you want to keep this property? Do you want to be a landlord? Or do you just want to sell it and move on to the next deal? So let's say you want to own the property. That's amazing. I encourage you to acquire real estate and keep it. But do you want income? Do you want monthly income? Or are you more focused on just getting a ton of cash right now? Well, most investors choose the income route. And if they do choose the income route, you're going to want to see if your property cash flows as a long-term rental. Does it cash flow as a 12-month rental? Most investors choose the income route. So let's look at the income route. You are going to rent your property out. And you're first going to want to see if you can rent it out as a long-term rental and it cash flows. Does your property cash flow as a long-term rental? Hopefully, yes. But if not, it's okay. We have other options. But if it cash flows as a long-term rental, you know that you have a pretty good deal right there. So whether you're wholesaling it, whether you're buying it, if it cash flows as a long-term rental, that's a big checkbox. That's very good. But let's say it doesn't cash flow as a long-term rental. Then you need to look at other renting strategies. You can rent by the room like student housing or pad split. You take every single room and you rent it out. You convert the dining room to a bedroom. You convert the living room to 2 bedrooms. You turn your house into multiple bedrooms. Sober living is another option. And you rent out each room. That increases your rent and increases your cash flow. But let's look at short-term rental. Run your property on AirDNA. Look at AirDNA and see what the income is as an Airbnb. Check out midterm rentals. Check out traveling nurse housing or pilot housing or a ton of other midterm housing solutions. This is what you need to do if you want to see if your property cash flows as a rental. But if you decide you just want cash now, but you still want to own the property, then you can do a BRRRR. You can refinance out. This is usually more of a long-term play, so you may have to wait a few years in order to do a successful BRRRR. But this is another option if you want a ton of cash coming in, but still want to maintain the property. This is more of an advanced level step. So let's say you want to sell the property instead of owning it. Well, you have really 3 options. You can do a lease option, a wrap, or you can just flip it. Let me walk you through those 3 options. A flip is the simplest of the 3. You're just selling the property outright. If you think you can get into the deal and immediately sell it for a higher price, or maybe you fix it up a little bit and then sell it for a higher price, that's a flip. You make your cash, you make it quick, and you move on to the next deal. You're in and you're out. You're taking a little bit of money, you're in, you're out. This is not how you're going to build generational wealth. You're not going to become a multi-millionaire by flipping properties. But if you want 20, 30, 40, 6 figures really quick, flipping can be an amazing strategy. But let's say that you're a real estate investor and you're looking for a little bit more advanced strategy. Well, you can do a lease option or a wrap. These are great solutions if you want cash, you also want some income, and you also want to get some amazing tax benefits. Let me just make one thing clear to you. Lease options and wraps, these are very, very complex topics, and I can make dedicated videos on these, hour-plus long videos on these. I can make a university course on lease options and wraps. But I'm going to explain this really quick for the point of this video. A lease option is when you lease your house out as a long-term rental with the option of purchasing the property. The person renting the property is living there. They're renting the property, but they gave you an option fee. This option fee is a non-refundable fee to you, the seller, that gives the renter the option, but not the obligation, just the option to purchase your property at a specific price. So TLDR, a lease option pretty much means that you're leasing out your house, but the renter has the right to purchase your house at a specific price in the future. And a wrap is my favorite of all the disposition strategies. If I ever sell a house in the future, I'm most likely going to sell it in a wrap. A wrap is so cool. What a wrap means is that you own a property with an existing loan, whether that's a seller finance loan, a subject to loan, or a traditional bank loan. You own a property that has a loan on it, and you sell it with seller financing to a new buyer. You're taking the old loan and you're combining it with a new loan, you're wrapping them together, and you're selling it on seller finance. This is the most passive of passive income you can get in real estate, and it is an amazing way to cash flow. So that's it. That is the entire acquisition and disposition strategy in creative finance real estate. I know that was a ton of information, but in this video, I just wanted to give you the 90,000 foot level view of what creative finance is in a nutshell. I wanted to give you everything. I wanted to throw you all the information, and now you can slowly start to digest it and pick what you want to learn more about. Do you want to learn more about subject to? Do you want to learn more about seller finance? What about hybrid and Morby method? Oh my God, I just want to do cash offers, maybe just a 70% rule. Or do you want to focus on the disposition strategy? I mean, maybe you're an Airbnb expert, but now you want to learn about renting by the room. Or maybe you just want to learn more about wraps or lease options. These are so cool. You need to know everything if you are going to be the best wholesaler and the best investor. But you don't need to learn it all right now. Take your time and study on these subjects. You will really benefit from them. But what I want you to tell me in the comments is, what video do you want me to cover next? Do you want me to make a video on Morby method, the pros and cons? Do you want me to make a full video on wraps and give you real life examples? Tell me in the comments what you want me to make a video on next. Thank you all for your time, and I will see you in the next video. Vincent out. Bye.